Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Malcontent Corner, the corner where I hope to enlighten your lives by sharing with you things I've learned in the daily walk of mine. Coming up next, I'm going to be talking about gas strut removal and replacement. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome back after the intro. So not too long ago, my wife came up to me and she's like, honey, the rear deck lid of my Cougar won't stay open. I'm using a block of wood to prop it open when I put groceries in or out. Can you take a look and see what's bad? And I knew right away it was the gas strut rods. Now, these are quite ubiquitous. They use them on basically cars made within the last 40 or so years. For example, my 1995 Ford Explorer has two sets of these on the rear hatch, a larger set for the entire hatch, and a smaller set like this for the rear hatch glass. They're pneumatic in nature and they're under pressure to hold open whatever they are connected to once they are extended like this. I have found that typically these will go bad when the weather changes from hot or warm to cold. Reason being, obviously, the gas contracts when it's cold out, and because of that, there's not enough pressure to hold open whatever these are connected to. There's usually two of them used in unison, and even though there's not a lot of pressure there, there's still enough to where I cannot collapse this by hand. So there's still a lot of pressure in this, but obviously not enough to hold open the rear deck lid of my wife's Cougar, which I'm not surprised about. You have the weight of the deck lid, the glass, the rear spoiler, the rear wiper. There's a lot of weight on there. Now, replacing these is not incredibly hard, but before we get into that, I'm going to explain the mechanics of how they work. So they sit on a stud that has a ball on the end, and if you take a look in there, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a metal clamshell in there. And that metal clamshell is actually this metal band that you see in the back. And at the very back there, you will see a little channel. Now, that clamshell is basically under tension, and it wraps around, and it traps the pivot ball within the socket here on the ends of this strut. To remove it, it's pretty easy, but before we get into that, please always wear safety glasses or something to protect your eyes. Odds are you will not get hurt doing this job, but you can if you are, well, if you're klutzy or you manhandle things too much, or, you know, sometimes you can do everything right and things just go wrong. So please wear something to protect your eyes. And before you start popping these off, please prop open whatever it is you are working on. If you're working on a rear hatch of an SUV, please find some way to hold it open. If it does not stay open with two of these, I can guarantee you it will not stay open with one of these. So once you pop one of these off, it is going to close if not blocked open. At the very least, you might get away with it just closing. Odds are it might do some damage, and in the worst case scenario, it will not only do damage to your car, but it can do damage to yourself in the form of crushed fingers. So please block it open or have somebody hold it up so that you can remove these safely. Now, to remove them, it's pretty easy. You only need a flat bladed screwdriver, a smaller one, and what you're going to do is you're going to put it in the channel that I showed you there, and you're going to pry like such, and it's going to pry that metal band back enough so that it will pop off the ball that is trapped within the socket here. That being said, you do not want to pry so hard that you pop the metal band off. If it's an older one like this, it's not a big deal, but you're going to have to do the same procedure to put this back on, and obviously being new, you don't want to destroy it. So you just need to put enough pressure on there to open that metal clamshell. Typically what I do is I will push against this away from the socket and pry this until it pops off. It's really not that hard, but you just want to be careful. If you pop the band off, they can be a bit of a pain in the butt to get off. I have done it on old ones, so you know, just to play with it. So yeah, it can be hard to get back on. When putting it back on, I do recommend putting some grease on the ball itself. A lithium grease is usually what I use, and basically I just reverse the procedure. I'll take the new one, I put the screwdriver in there, I'll pry it back, and then I'll push until it pops on, and then once done, I can let it go. And I just always push on the metal band just to make sure it's seated. So that's really all there is to it. Once off, I just take it and throw it in the garbage. Please do not get smart and try to cut into one of these. They are still under a lot of pressure, even though there's not enough to hold open what they are connected to. So you do not want to put them in a fire. You don't want to do anything with them other than throw them away. That's the smartest thing you can do. Doing anything other than that can result in injury. So anyways, I put a new set on my wife's Cougar. Now the rear deck lid opens, it stays up, and she's happy because she no longer has to use a block of wood. Pretty easy to do at time of filming. These run anywhere from $16 to $25 depending on your application. You can also find them online cheaper at various parts outlets, Fleabay and things like that. So if you happen to have a rear deck lid or a rear hatch and it's not staying open, take a look at having your struts replaced. Once you do that, it'll take care of your problem. Anyways, that's what I have for you here at this episode of Malcontent Corner. As always, I appreciate you listening to me. I hope you found this episode of some use. And as always, I hope to see you back again here in the not too distant future. So until then, you take care of yourselves, and we'll see you later. Ciao! Get wild. Get wild.